Excuse me. Welcome back to ReZero Anime Review, episode number 72. Excuse me. We're here reviewing the 64th episode of the series, Theresia van Astrea, which also is the name of one of the chapters after the episode, Chapter 5. This episode, I looked it up, it covers two full chapters, book 4 and 5. I'm like, that's a bit of a surprise. And the whole episode is focused on these three. Theresia, Wilhelm, Reinhardt, who's later in the episode, and Hickel. Oh yeah, the whole episode is about these four people. And with the exception of some other characters, these four are practically the main characters of this episode. Subaru, Amelia, they're not in this episode. Yes, if you're really curious, were they in the chapters? Where did the episode cut them? No. They're not in the chapters. They do mention a character who actually, believe it or not, appears in the next arc of the series, Astrea. Yeah, there's a mention of him in here, where he was the very first Sword Saint, and in the episode, there's no mention of him. Basically, it starts off with Theresia and Wilhelm containing their fight from the previous episode, and then of course basically she requires him to stop, and we get a full flashback where Theresia is basically like, the only flash we can see of him and his wife is basically how he first met her, where she was like asking like flowers, and then when he defeated her. That's all we've seen for their flashback for her. This episode gives a lot more detail to her character, where just by sheer randomness, okay, she's picking flowers, and then she starts acting really weird, because she inherited the divine protection of the Sword Saint. So then, of course, she has a spar match with her brother, where she wins, and she gets the dragon sword, the sword they have in the anime, which the book basically goes up, not exactly full detail about this. It's just that it was first held by Astrea, the very first Sword Saint in the family, and no one knows where the thing came from. As a matter of fact, a lot of the Sword Saints have never seen, according to the book itself, which the anime doesn't go much detail about the blade itself, a lot of the Sword Saints have never seen the naked blade of this damn thing. The only people who have been, of course, Theresia and Reinhardt. Now, I found that to be interesting. My guess is because they cut that, purely because of time. They're probably just trying to get through a lot of the story as quickly as possible. But aside from those small little details, I'd say the good meat of the story is there. So, after she becomes Sword Saint, then we jump ahead 2 years later in the flashback, where they're on a battlefield, she's there with her brother, and then at this very battlefield, all three of her brothers are murdered. Are killed in battle, along with her uncle, who just happens to be her predecessor as a Sword Saint. There was a flashback, pick up your sword. And then, of course, basically, right after this, it's presumed that not long after this particular catastrophe happened, where she was the only survivor of her family from the battle, that's probably when she first met Wilhelm in that open field. And then after this, basically after defeating her, they apparently get married off screen, which I think they did show us in the flashback of season 1. I think it was. No, actually no, the one that was never seen. And then we see where he became her protector, and they later had a son together, Hickel, who grew up to be a complete idiot, and it was not their fault. He just had to be that way. And then Hickel got with a blonde woman, and basically the woman gave birth to Reinhardt. 3 generations of basically Van Astreas in one household. Which I'm sure basically Theresia probably was a good grandchild spoiler. I'm sure she loved her grandson. I'm sure she loved him so much. So then at one point she is 50 years old, and I don't know what the logic of this is, where this woman is not aged in years. Heck, even when she appears here on the cover, this is a woman who, if she was still alive, should be 70 years old. She'd be like, Wilhelm. Wilhelm, in the flashback, being a little bit older than she is, his hair was still turning gray, and she still looks gorgeous for 50. I'm like, damn, she must have taken very good care of herself to basically look that good for her age. And of course, like, she asks him basically, like, she tells him that she loves him. Like, she kind of wanted him to say the same thing back. I mean, she already knew that he always loved. She wanted him to admit it. But she always suspected, based upon his reaction to her, that he fell in love with her basically as soon as he saw her. And this is where we see that famous scar that he has on his shoulder, that he has protection of the death god. So that he would never die, and it would never heal. Yes, and according to her, like, he doesn't mention by name in season 2, but this is basically expansion upon what he mentioned back in season 2. Good callback. So in this flashback, establishes she was the one who did it. You were thinking that she was a sword? No, she used her finger to cut through his shoulder. And then she goes off to fight the white whale, which is something they mentioned back in season 1 of the show, where her group lose, and she's the only survivor. Then she loses divine protection at that point, and all she sees a mysterious little girl who is part of the witches. Is it Daphne, the creator of the white whale? No. It is Pandora. You think, wait, Pandora. Yeah, she's a mysterious little girl. She's a witch of Thanatori? Yes. This is her first appearance in the show since the memory stuff from the previous season of the show. And apparently she's affiliated with the witch's cult. So apparently her power is that she can rewrite phenomena in her favor as many times as she wants, as long as it's in her favor. Users can negate her death, bury people into the ground instantly, without leaving any trace action behind, change people's memories, and she also can control the black serpent with her power, which is able to direct wherever she wants. Which, of course, is actually one of the many creatures created by Daphne. Daphne is, I believe, the Witch of Gluttony, if I'm not mistaken. She was introduced in the previous season show. And that's when basically the protection went to Reinhardt at this point, which was mentioned early on in the season, which great callback here. And then we jump to present day, where during the fighting, all of a sudden Hiko shows up. He just walks in the scene, and I love how the anime recreates this scene from the actual light novel. This scene right here, where basically he says something. Wait, Theresia. It's like, no way, you're lying. Theresia, that's awesome. You can't be mom. Yeah, he does the same thing, which good on the anime for doing this. And then it's like, then Reinhardt himself shows up because, of course, we actually had the big fight. And then she just instantly slices her, instantly beating her like one hit. And then, of course, basically, while she is going back to death, Wilhelm does admit to her that he does love her. And the fact that, well, she's happy. And then she disintegrates, turns to ash. He then proceeds to take her cloak that she was wearing, the witch's cloak that she was wearing, put her ashes into it. He probably also took off his coat during this period of time, and rolls her ash up into it. And of course, Hiko's like, oh, I'll tell her you're a murderer, you murdered your grandmother. Who people can think about possibly that Hiko's mom basically could be easily his sister. Given how young she looks. Yes. So, and like basically, from what I can tell by Wilhelm's basically his. You don't have to say it to him immediately, but Reinhardt basically can tell what way Wilhelm is talking to him that he does accept him. He even says it. he does recognize him as a new Sword Saint, and then he walks off and tells him Reinhardt needs to go off into a battle, which of course they accurately recreated this moment from the light novel. We see him just jumping into the air, which he does in the anime too, and Heckel is left by himself. I mean, he just saw his father battle his mom, and then he saw his son murder his mother. Well, actually, she's already dead anyways. And according to Reinhardt, basically he killed her not because he wanted to, because he thought it was the right thing to do. It was just, the best way to describe it, it's a mercy killing. Yes, that's basically what it is here. And this episode, in my opinion, is probably, with the exception of the minor cuts here, I mean, the cuts in this episode were very minor at best. I mean, yes, it's more backstory with the little backstory when it comes to the Astrea family, but the episode was really good. I mean, probably by far one of the best episodes of the entire series. Yes. This episode is so good. And I can't believe we only have 2 more left, and they'll be done. You're like, what? As good as this anime is, you gotta think that White House Studio, they should produce more episodes, because this episode was so freaking good. You would think, oh, we should have more episodes, because this episode was so good. I've heard the last 2 episodes have got basically a rating of like a 9.5 online. People rate very highly in the last 2 episodes, which, good on basically, this season's probably got a lot of positive reception. Which, I agree with that. Yes, I do agree with the fact this season of the series has been very well received. The cuts have not been crazy per se. It's mostly due to timing. Am I hoping that they might restore this if they do when they do season 4 of the show? Yes. It's a shame we only have 2 more left, given how really good this anime is. I kind of wish the studio would basically extend the episodes to do more material, because of probably how well received this anime is. I'm sure that Crunchyroll they probably know that this season is getting a lot of positive reception, so they're probably gonna be like, hey, could you go in their season, because this season is getting very positive reception over here. Can we please get our season of this? Also, can we have more than 60 episodes this time? Have it last for as long as the first season, 25. Have last for 25 episodes, and cover it of our next, like, really let 2 more seasons of the show, because basically of how good this is. But take your time. Take a full year to develop the next season. Just do as many episodes as you can for your first core, and then do whatever. Okay? Just give us another season, because I'm sure that's probably happened with Ryan Shihiro. And apparently, I was telling this to, I think it was Lennon McDonald, I think it was, where the only reason we got seasons 2 and 3 because Crunchyroll asked for it. Yes, they asked for those seasons. They asked for more seasons, because in Japan that series didn't do too well, and then apparently when it came over here, it did really well, and that's why we got seasons 2 and 3. Of course, now we got season 4 coming in just 4 months. Yes, coming in July. But yeah, overall, fantastic episode. Okay, so that's pretty much it, particular review. Excuse me. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Okay, so next video will be a Comic Corner, and it's on to Blue Exorcist next. Okay, next video. Bye.